we move on now to the penultimate session that features critical cardiac care and echocardiography, decision making. Each of the presenters would have 11 minutes, and then we'll take up the last minute for a quick comment from the chair. May I invite Colonel S.K. Parashar, Professor Dev Pahlajani, Drs. R.R. Kasliwal, Samir Srivastava, R.A.I. Ekanayaka, and Vikram Khatri. I would like to request the august presence of Dr. K.K. Kapoor, Senior Consultant Cardiologist at Indraprasth Apollo Hospital from New Delhi, to speak on myocardial dissection. Dr. Kapoor, please. Thank you.
I am the only chairperson left.
Okay.
So, because as you know, echo plays a very tremendous role in the critical care medicine. I think every CCU, every critical care unit has now got a portable echo machine. It gives you a tremendous information, why the patient has worsened, what is the treatment, and it guides to various factors. So this session is mainly on a critical care, and we have Dr. K.K. Kapoor, who is the head of the non-invasive department at Apollo Hospital, Delhi. He will present a case of a myocardial dissection. Kapoor, please.
Thank you very much to you, Dr. Prasher. And what I'll be speaking over the next 10 minutes is a topic called myocardial dissection, which is a form of a partial rupture of the myocardium, in which the blood from the LV cavity, it dissects and forms a tract. It's very important to show that there's a tract, and that tract does not extend to all the layers of the myocardium. So that's the classical myocardial dissection, not that easy to diagnose. So this is what it is, that this is a patient with an anterior wall myocardial infarction, and this is a contrast MRI showing that there is an intramyocardial hematoma because of the myocardial dissection, and that is seen on contrast MRI as a white area over here, and this is a cartoon showing the myocardial dissection. Now, other myocardial tears in which all the myocardial layers are dissected except the epicardium or the visceral pericardium, they come under what is called the contained myocardial rupture. Now, the myocardial dissection could progress to a contained myocardial rupture. However, you can have a contained myocardial rupture without a myocardial dissection. If the exit is sealed off by a clot, so then even if the visceral pericardium is ruptured and the exit is sealed off by a clot, then that partial rupture is called a pseudoaneurysm. And of course, if it's a complete tear of the myocardial wall, then that's a hemopericardium. That's a complete myocardial rupture. That is a medical emergency requiring emergency surgery. Now, what is the most important cause? It is actually acute myocardial infarction. It's the most common cause of the partial tear. And it is related to the reperfusion therapy. If the reperfusion therapy is given early enough, within the window period, then the myocardial, the partial rupture is avoided, dissection is avoided. However, if it is late, then the reperfusion therapy and the use of the 2B3A inhibitors, it promotes it. And the thrombolytic therapy also, if it is given late, then it also promotes myocardial dissection because it prevents plugging of the tears with thrombus and leads to dissection, and it can lead to, therefore, intramyocardial hematoma and can progress to forms of cardiac ruptures. And what are the predictive factors? The first myocardial infarction, anterior wall myocardial infarction, a very high level of CPK-MB, female sex age more than 70 years, male sex younger than 15 to 60 years. In the present era, hypertension should not be associated with the cardiac rupture in a patient with acute myocardial infarction because you are aggressively treating very early in the acute phase of acute myocardial infarction, if the patient is hypertension, you are going to use beta blockers and ACE inhibitors. The exact incidence is difficult to assess what is the exact incidence of myocardial dissection because of the problems in the early diagnosis of myocardial dissection. But if you take the overall incidence of cardiac ruptures, then you find that over the years, because of the extensive use of PCIs, especially within the first few hours of myocardial infarction, this primary PCIs, and the use of thrombolytic therapy within the window period, this incidence has dramatically reduced over the period of time, and so has the mortality. However, if there is a late presentation or a late PCI fibrinolysis also late, then that has the worst complications, and the incidence of myocardial hemorrhage is pretty high, though it may not be clinically evident, and many times it is undiagnosed, that if there is no reperfusion therapy and the PCI is late, I mean this PCI is not done at all, then the incidence of myocardial hemorrhage is only 18%. However, if thrombolytic therapy or PCI is given late, then the incidence of intramyocardial hemorrhage is very high. Survival improves if the patient seeks early medical attention, which may be impossible, and accurate diagnosis is made by the emergency team, and hospital has cardiac surgery available. But even if the individual survives the partial rupture, the 30-day mortality is still higher than if the rupture did not occur. Now, this is one example of an incomplete tear, like a myocardial dissection, which you can see the tract, which is not extending to all the layers of the myocardium, and certainly does not extend to the epicardium. So this is the typical with a little bit of an intramyocardial hematoma. Another evidence of intramyocardial hematoma and myocardial dissection, and this is the whole thing is the myocardium. This is dissected out here, forms, but it has not ruptured outside. Now this is the dissection of the IVS. Now after myocardial infarction, some patients do develop a VSD, or they may just be dissection of the IVS, which may not progress to a VSD, and this is one such case. However, this could progress to a VSD also, like in this particular case. This can progress to a post-myocardial infarction VSD, septal wall dissection. The four morphological patterns of myocardial rupture, one is of course the complete rupture, near direct trajectory of rupture through the entire myocardium with little dissection or bloody infiltration of the myocardium. And then what is known as the classical dissection is a multi-canalicular trajectory with extensive myocardial dissection and bloody infiltration of the myocardium. The orifice of the rupture on the external surface of the myocardium may be protected either by a clot or pericardial symphysis, but then it is better called a contained rupture. Then that is the dissection progressing to a contained rupture. And of course, the incomplete rupture is if it does not extend into all the layers of the myocardium. That is the classical dissection. And this is the contained myocardial rupture. It has gone up to the myocardial wall, and then it has not penetrated up to the visceral pericardium. Now this is another example with a contrast MRI and echocardiogram, and you can see the rupture site here, the partial rupture site, and it's gone on to a contained myocardial rupture. It's gone up to the entire myocardium and up to the visceral pericardium, almost like a pseudaneurysm. You can see the tear very nicely on the contrast MRI. And then you have the posterior wall contained rupture. That is one of the most frequent sites of partial rupture. And this can be associated with a pericardial effusion, even though it may not have ruptured into the pericardium, there can be some pericardial effusion. But this is the classical posterior wall contained rupture. This is another example of a posterior wall contained rupture with some hemopericardium. So, you know, the dissection can progress to contained rupture and can also progress sometimes to a hemopericardium. Now, this is another example of an intramyocardial hematoma progressing to a pseudoaneurysm. You can see the rent in the endocardium here going into the myocardium and then going all the way up. And this is best seen on using the transpulmonary contrast. When you use the transpulmonary contrast, you can see the passage of contrast across the rent and into the hematoma. So one of the ways of diagnosing myocardial dissection. This is a complete rupture. Now the survival will be impossible unless it is immediately operated upon. This is an example of a complete hematoma because of a complete rupture of the myocardium, through and through rupture, and this is the tract. So the sites of the free wall rupture are infralateral or the posterior wall segments, the most common, followed by the lateral wall, the apex, and then the other segments. Example of a pseudoaneurysm, typical example, which starts as a tear here and then extends outside into the as a pseudoaneurysm, contained of course by the clot. The diagnosis of a pure myocardial dissection is rather difficult. Unstable hemodynamics, especially if there has been a late PCI and there are unstable hemodynamics, then you have a high index of suspicion. Transesophageal echocardiography gives a better resolution, especially if the acoustic window is not good. Contrast echocardiography using transpulmonary contrast, as shown you, can provide, it can delineate the tract, and of course you can use contrast MRI. The cardiac ruptures, if they are complete ruptures, they need immediate surgery. Contained ruptures and pseudoaneurysm need urgent surgery, while most of the myocardial dissections that do not progress to contained ruptures and do not progress to pseudoaneurysms, then they can be managed conservatively. These are the intramyocardial hematomas, but with periodic monitoring. If you feel that they are extending and there is going to be an external rent, then they have to be operated. Overall, the prognosis is not favorable. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. So I think one of the very common causes is a thrombolytic therapy, because we had a patient who was treated somewhere else, given a thrombolytic therapy, angiography done, showed a triple vessel disease, then sent to a routine pre-operative echo showed an intramyocardial hematoma. Patient was completely asymptomatic at that stage. So, but as he says, there are various forms of a contained rupture. Some of them needs urgent, or some of them are just routinely detected. Again, a very nice case. Any comments or any questions or any clarifications by the audience?
Okay, if there are none. Right. Thank you, Mr.